إن ربكم الله الذي خلق السماوات والأرض في 6 أيام ثم استوى على العرش.
All this time I've known you, Akhi, I didn't know that's how your business started.
Yeah.
And I see, and that's the thing of like, kind of like this, what I was saying about the fact that we've got things that are happening in our community already. It just needs to be a bit more, because the brother you mentioned is someone that was doing his business within the community, and he showed you what he was doing, and you got on with it, and alhamdulillah, you're still going. And that's exactly the same thing that happened to me. An elder in the community, Brother Ismail, I think he's on the line, I believe. He showed me what he was doing, and I said, you know, let's give this a go.
Yeah.
Let's give this a go. So it's already been happening. I don't know, we haven't heard how Abdul Azeez started his, or maybe it was mentioned before how he started his business. Maybe he'll tell us. But that's the thing, it's already happening. Just needs to be
We're going to come to him next, inshallah.
A little bit more. And that recognition, Abdul Rahim, is also very important, because just that little bit that you mentioned there to say, you know, it was actually an elder from the community who showed me, you know, how to do some business when I became Muslim, and I was looking at what I need to do, how to keep everything halal, because that alone, it gives people inspiration and hope to go back to the community and say, do you know what? This brother actually got help from someone else, and just, you know, you just got it out of nowhere. There's like an origin to it, and the origin is, you know, from the community.
Let me just jump in though.
Let me jump
in.
you understand what I'm saying?
It wasn't, but it wasn't solely just for this of helping out. Do you see where I'm coming from? Like me getting into my business wasn't just solely from the brother just wanting to help me out. Do you see where I'm coming from? It was of a standing point where he's going to help himself out, if you understand where I'm coming from. You know, it's not like to say I found a young brother and I'm saying...
It was a partnership kind of thing.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Yeah, so it wasn't just like he brought me under my wing and then under his wing and he was like, Raj, you know what, come with me, I'm going to show you how to do the business. It was definitely not from that standpoint. And I feel like more of those things need to be happening in the community for us to, you know, really praise that sort of situation. His situation was more of, I'm leaving, you know, pick up off of me until I'm gone sort of thing. And then, you know, when I'm gone, then you can, you know, like basically take my route of what I've left behind. Do you see where I'm coming from? We need more of connections of, you know what, I see that you're in the community, etc. And I want good for you, you know, come, let me show you the ropes. And that's there's not a lot of that's going on. You know, the one person that I can stand here and I can say that is actually doing that is the brother Abdul Azeez right there. You see where I'm coming from? He's actually got people working with him that didn't have a clue. He's given them now a skill. Do you see where I'm coming from? So that now they've got a skill that they never had before, and they probably never would have dreamt of before if that brother never started his business. Yeah. Now that's true love, because yeah, obviously you need people, but you can always find people that's already doing that already. So to find people that don't have no idea, train them up, that's the true love. This is what we need in the community.
Jade, excellent point. I'm gonna come to Abdul Azeez now, because I want to Abdul Azeez Taylor, because I want to hear his story as to how he got into the trainer business, the cleaning business, and how he got to a stage of setting up his shop. So, Assalamu alaikum, brother. How did you actually get into the business then?
Walaikum salam. It's nothing extravagant, if I'm honest with you. It's, you know, it's I just
why you?
It wasn't nothing extra. It wasn't nothing extravagant to the extent of how I found the business, or it was. I wasn't even looking for something in that sense. At the time, I recently started up a business with my cousin, and we were selling like gourmet wings. We called it the Wing Shack. So I had another place in Battersea where we were selling wings and the sort. But one day we was just driving home, and this guy's a man who loves designer. He had these big, expensive £1,000 shoes that he wanted to be clean. And I'm a man that grew up knowing that I'll wash my shoes riverside. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Or I'll clean my own shoes. So he said, I've got to get a machine. I have to find someone who has a machine to do it. And I said, no way, I'll do that. And this is a man who I said, this is out of, I just wanted to know if I could do it. Plus I knew that I could do it in any ways. Like I've grown up doing these things here. Even like to say, for example, even the Clarks. I wore Clarks to school, desert boot, suede. So I cleaned those, you understand? So I knew exactly how to clean shoes in that sense. So then
you took his £1,000 shoes. You weren't scared.
I took his £1,000 shoes.
Ah.
I took his £1,000 shoes and I cleaned them. And he was happy with them. And then he started telling all his friends in that sense, okay, you know, my little cousin, he can clean shoes. Like I said to myself, I'm going to do this thing proper now because the numbers on it make sense. Everybody wears shoes. In terms of the trend in the market right now is that everybody is buying shoes before they're buying a jumper. Everybody cares about what's on our feet before what's on our bodies or even our minds in that sense. The paradigm shifted now. It's based upon shoes. So I said to myself, yeah, let's do it. And then I literally was just riding in the car one day and spontaneously I just said, I'm going to call it Vamp and Revamp. And then from there we move forward. MG contacted me actually. So MG said he's going to open up a sneaker shop in Brixton.
So wait, so your cleaner business has nothing, because I was of the mindset, I thought that, I
mean, MG were one and the same.
Yeah. No, he's got his cuts. Your mindset is different. You're as you said, you're on your own thing. No influence.
Yeah, I was on my own thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So MG called me and said he wants to set up a sneaker shop, and he said, okay, I want to do some sneaker cleaning on the other side. Initially, it was like to come under, but MG, he's another one from the community who's about building brands. He was helping us. He wants to help each other in that sense. So MG definitely brought me into his space and exposed me to a lot more customers in that region there. And then from then I built my brand, built some, and then I ended up here. In other words, step by step. In other words.
So you was next to MG for how long?
Probably about a year and a bit. Then
Okay.
COVID hit us. So we had plans to come here by the time we got to MG. So by the time before COVID came, that's when I had plans to move somewhere else and expand the business.
So from where you was, you needed to expand basically because the business was coming in.
Most definitely. And I give an example. So in that small space, we couldn't take on capacity, and there wasn't much room for growth in terms of like growing your business exponentially, right? You find yourself having a job, in other words. That's one thing I didn't want to do. I wanted to work for self, but not work for self forever, and not work too long. So many people get into business and they say to themselves, you know what, I work for myself and so and so. In other words, you just have a job that you never get. It's better you get a 9 to 5 because then you can go home. This one here, you're doing it every day, 24 hours a day. So that's one thing I didn't want to do. So I said to myself, okay, cool. Let's start building from this aspect, come out of this mindset. And I was referred to a book called The Image. This one here, which gave me a lot of insight into terms of building systems in my business. And that's what took us to where we are now.
So you employ staff? How many staff you have?
Yeah, I have 5 at the moment.
Okay. So it's yourself and 5
between the ages of 17 to 19.
Tell me about managing people then. How you find managing people? Because this is your baby, this is your thing. So
all of this is still a work in process. And at the moment, I'm still in my rudimentary stages. You'd call it the book defines it. You have 3 stages to business, starting first with like, how would you put it? Like your rudimentary phase. Then you go into a level where you begin to like adolescence, and then you go into a stage of maturity. So I'm in the stage where it's adolescence, you could say, where I'm trying to break into that gap, that bracket of maturity. So in terms of systems and managing individuals, it's still new to me. So I'm still working that out currently. It's very intricate when it comes to payment, rotas, all that sort there. And I'm doing it myself. And it's working for me at the moment. Most definitely is working for me. But in terms of like polishing the system at the moment, it's still a work in progress, most definitely.
MashaAllah, man, Allah bless you in your business. Let me just go to Abdul Hamid's hands up. Let me just go to him here 1 second. And I'm going to unmute Abdul Azeez Henry as well. Fadl, Abdul Hamid, do you have a question?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wassalam.
So
No, just to make a comment, basically. MashaAllah, first of all, MashaAllah, it's good to see the brothers more aware of the business that they're doing. MashaAllah, it's young brothers to have that kind of mindset at this age is a good thing, to be honest with you. So may Allah reward them and just encourage them, keep going. We, the elders in the community, always, we if anything, any help that you guys need, always you can come to us. If there's any help we could do for you, inshallah. And the other thing was that what Abdul Azeez said, which is correct. There's, some of the brothers, they're doing their own business, so they start trading. Most cases, that has something to do with the people of the past, what they contributed. Example, years ago, maybe most of you, the young brothers, they don't know, like Carpet Mohamed, Carpet Sadiq. Those brothers, they used to run, carpets. MashaAllah, those days, a lot of brothers, they used to train a lot of brothers from the community, how to fit carpet and stuff like that. And eventually those brothers, they start doing their own business, fitting carpets. Some brothers open shops. So a lot of brothers, they start feeding their family through that business, which is those brothers used to train the young brothers from scratch, like what Abdul Rahim was saying, that it was not like they were looking for professional carpet fitters, but they used to train brothers from scratch. And the same thing like Sirat rahimahullah, he brought the incense company business from America when he came here. And over the years, how many brothers benefited from that business, which still exists? Is we have Black Crescent. I think they call it Black Crescent now.
Yes.
It's mashallah, it's very good business. They're doing very well, and it starts from the community, So I think it's quite important, brothers who have skills in the community to come forward and train the young brothers. And the only way we could do that is by communicating with the community, with the youngsters, organizing events and open days. We have, for example, doctors, we have lawyers, not only business opportunities, but education. Sometimes youngsters are coming out here, get into teenagers, get into secondary school. Sometimes they don't know what they want to do. So having open days for the youngsters, what course they should do, subjects they should do for GCSEs or A levels, or sometimes even having parents who cannot afford to send their children to tuition, having facility. You know, there's a lot of brothers. We have teachers uh, and different fields. That imagine if everyone in the community, one of the examples is like the teachers. If one teacher can give 1 hour a week to the community, and if we have tuition for low-income families who cannot afford to send their children to tuition. 1 hour a week, if we can get 5 teachers and each person give 1 hour a week, you know how much benefit those children are going to benefit, you know. And these things, at the end of the day, definitely, if you were to look after the youngsters in the community, and this is something that they will never forget, and they will always come back to the community, and they want to give back, you know, the same thing what they receive. They want to give back to the community. So this is very important, that we need to engage to the community, especially being the elders in the community or the leaders in the community, that we know and we know our community, we know what the community needs and things like that. So just that was just my opinion anyway, inshallah.
Excellent. Jazakallah khair, Abdul Hamid.
Ismail, can I quickly jump in real quick here?
Go on.
And it's just off the back of what Abdul Hamid said. Obviously, I've recently done a talk. I do little talks, etc. And my one was about community. Now, community by definition is people that have common goals and interests. Yeah. And obviously, we got to understand that you can't save everybody. Yeah. As much as it sounds harsh, you can't save everybody. So me and Abdul Azeez Taylor, we get on well because we are of the same mindset. Yeah. So we got to find people that are of the same mindset. And what I've realized is that when I was growing up, I was of the mindset of my people. My community was people that we get dirty. We put in the work. Whatever it means, whatever means we had to take, we're going to put in the work. Yeah? We become Muslim and we can't do certain things. So certain things have been dropped. So we can't do haram, etc. But there's plenty of halal things that we can do. But a lot of people don't have that zeal to push and drive. Yeah. And exactly what Abdul Hamid said. He said, if a teacher can come and sacrifice his hour, yeah, for the community. Now, I feel this, for me personally, I feel that is not correct. Yeah. We, no matter, listen, I'm not rich. I'm not rich. Yeah. I'm no means rich, but I work and I try to put in my work. I work hard in order to get what I get. Yeah. And I spend it, I direct it in the best of ways. Yeah. So, i.e., if my children need tutoring, yeah, I'm gonna facilitate. I'm not waiting for somebody to offer their time, etc. I'm gonna break my back in order to do that for my children. They're my children. I understand about the community thing, but we've got to come out of this mindset that it must be for free. Yeah, that free thing, we need to drop that. Yeah.
Okay.
We need to adopt a mentality of supporting. Yeah, because you got to understand. You see, I've got plenty of people that say, "Raw, brother, you know what? You must be doing well. The Muslims must help you a lot." Let me just let you know, the majority of my funds that I get from my business is not from the Muslims, it's from the non-Muslims. Now, this is not to attack any Muslims, because there's plenty of people that sell what I sell. So they could be going there. Yeah. But what I'm saying is that when you have people within your community that are trying to do things, you should support them. Abdul Azeez
100%.
Henry, he does washing machines. If someone says they're looking for a washing machine repairman, I'm pointing them over there. There's no, I'm not going to tell man to go to the yellow pages, go online, except Google. I'm pushing my people forth. When man says, well, my trainers are clean, my trainers are dirty, I'm saying, I've got my brother over here, he cleans trainers, you know? Yeah? And this is what the community does not do. Whether you're going to spend money or you're not going to spend money, supporting is just offering the word of mouth and saying, well, do you know what? I've got someone over here that does this. Throw up my thing once in a while. Do you see where I'm coming from? Whether you're going to put money in or it's just that is support. And this is what we don't do as a community, but we want everything to flourish. It's not going to happen like that. Yeah, it's that broken mindset.
I think the realistic approach to us moving forward in terms of as a community to even start to have thoughts on what kind of programs or any sort of like system we'd have amongst us to support one another, we'd have to look towards starting with self, obviously, and that would start to build our own selves up. And then because before we can help, we have to help ourselves, you understand? And I think many of us, even in this stage of business where we're at, we're still, as I said, in our rudimentary stages of business where we're yet to flourish and spread our wings. Inshallah, we do. But I think the main thing that we can do now is to enrich people with the knowledge and the experiences that we have. So from amongst the youth, have some, because not everybody, as Abdul Rahim said, that community is what a group of people with a common goal. So those who share this commonality amongst us in terms of mindset, if they are willing and if we find each other, you understand? Because remember, not everybody has time these days. Then we can push those individuals forward, and it starts with a seed. Water that seed, it will grow eventually. We can't plant the whole crop with no knowledge. You understand? So let's just try with that one plant and see how it works. But obviously, because what we do is we look at the whole scope and think that this is it can be done here immediately and offer time. And as Strick said, I think for me now to offer my time, it's going to cost me a lot of money, and I can't offer it. Why? Because I need to put that every waking hour that I do into this business. If I'm honest with you, I'm here till 11 o'clock sometimes at night, from sometimes 8 a.m. So generate that wealth amongst us, start helping ourselves and give the knowledge out in this beginning stage is a realistic approach. I
mean, for the brothers who are focused on business and networking and building, there does need to be a meeting of minds, or how can we get to the next level? Okay, so maybe it's okay, I've got an incense business, I've got a shop. Like, who's the first one who's going to make the £100,000 barrier, and then who's going to make the £200,000 barrier? So there has to be a what do you call it? Incubator, like a what do you call it now? Entrepreneur incubator, where people are in business need to meet once a month, share ideas, networking, something's going cheap. So at least you've got the idea to build from what you have, and then to go to the next level. Okay, we're all on 100 grand now. Let's see if we can go for 200 grand. Do you get what I'm saying? So this forum here, obviously, it can't do everything. It's up to people who are in business, who have got that mindset. Say, okay, fine, if we are gonna increase our income, everyone needs to put together 20 grand. Then we got, we can build up like that. But that's the next stage. But at least the conversation needs to be had where we're aiming for that.
But do you know what it is? Exactly what you said in terms of incubator. This is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about educational systems. Yeah, because you got to understand that them courses, etc., is part of education. So you got to be willing to be studious and be willing to, go into those settings where you might not feel comfortable, to go and learn something new. I've spent my money, investing my money in myself. I've gone to incubator courses. I can tell those courses. I probably got the paperwork somewhere in my house. Do you see where I'm coming from? I still do those things because it's an investment in self.
Yeah.
And I'm saying people are going to see a £500, a grand or whatever and feel like, that's a bit too much. But you got to understand, you're talking about business. This is why I'm saying, this is why we need to push for education, because at least, at the very least, you don't get into business, whatever, you get a top job. Yeah. You're a surgeon, you're a lawyer, you're whatever. You can now fund that. And you got to understand, not everybody's going to be business minded. Yeah. But at the very least, we for the best of educations, so that if we're not that way inclined, we can still be the people that fund everything, because we earn 100 grand a year because I'm a surgeon, etc., etc. So it's all about a mindset. It's imperative that we know that it's about the mindset. And another thing I want to say to the people is this: you see, people die, yeah, and we've got, okay, we're gonna do a GoFundMe for this brother, etc., etc. If you notice, within the first day, we're getting 10 grands, 20 grands, 30 grands, 70 grands. Why are we not doing GoFundMes where, because there's a lot of Muslims around, you know? We've got to have common goals and interests. Everyone can put in £1 each and we can go far. And this is what I'm talking about when I'm saying supporting businesses. Because if everyone within our community, if we talk about Brixton alone, yeah, Brixton alone, everybody said, do you know what? Today I'm going to buy incense from the brother. Yeah. Only going to cost like a £2, £4. Yeah. Everybody done that within the community. Yeah. Like once a week or whatever. You would see that there's a dramatic change within that person's business. But nobody doesn't think like that. Yeah. And I'm not saying that just because I've got a business. I'm saying that because that's logical. Yeah. And that's how we thinking. Support.
Let me just go to Fadl, Abu Suilayman. Fadl.
Assalamu alaikum. Jazakumullah khairan. Wa alaikum salam. Jazakallah khairan, brother Taylor and brother Abdul Rahman from Sense. Jazakallah khairan for your thought-provoking, inspiration that what you have mentioned. What I think that we are lacking, number one, community cohesion from what I'm assessing from what the brothers are saying, but also we are lacking community leadership. What I mean by community leadership is community with visions, like what brother Abdul Rahman mentioned regarding GoFunding. Why do we need to go funding when we have Baitul Mal? People are paying zakat, people are paying sadaqah, etc. Then why not have somebody who's responsible for a fund to invest in the community, something separate to all of those stuff? But the problem is, as Muslims, yes, we may have good intention, but the reality is when money comes in front of people, many people, shaitan comes into them and get them to do things which are not right. So again, if the community is not upright, if leaders are not upright, and the people are not upright, doesn't matter what good individuals do, sooner or later, the whole community becomes corrupt, because it's how we're gonna feed off from each other rather than supporting each other. And this is something that you've seen where communities, they feed off from each other, and those who do feed off, they get away with many things, and those who do not, they're the ones who, inshallah, strive, like you brothers are doing in establishing your own businesses. But I would say if our leaders in the community, elders, whether they're in the 40s or the 50s, we need to establish some sort of fund for enterprise from the community itself. And that fund, they don't expect that money to come back to them. So whether you put in £10, £20, £50, whatever the amount, but the people who are responsible for it, they need to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They cannot take single penny. They cannot lie to the people. Whatever the money, whoever is going to be asking for it, who is going to be invested upon, it has to be clear cut. But the problem is we're not living at that time. Like the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the non-Muslims, they left their wealth with them, with him, the enemy. But when Rasulullah made hijrah, he made sure he gave everything back. He didn't take their wealth with them. Even like those Muslims who used to burgle people, who used to do highway robbery, when they became Muslim, Rasulullah said, as for your Islam, we accept, but as for your wealth, we have no need of it. Though the reality, I would say, is that we need to have a motivation to establishing some sort of pot where people who are responsible for it, they're God-fearing, they fear that any penny they're going to take, they'll be held accountable to Allah. But those who need help from that pot, they will need to fill certain conditions, and that, inshallah, will help them rely upon the pot to feed back into the pot slowly, whether it be over the period of 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever it is, they put it back into the community. This way it becomes like a rolling success for the community. So for example, brother Jordan from VAMS, if he wants, say, £10,000, then inshallah, yes, over 10 years, you pay it back. Or brother who does a scent business, he wants £5,000, over 5 years, you pay it back. But here you have that system where money is put into the community, money goes out and comes back again, but it comes back over a period. So that's how I see it. Allah knows best that to make success of the community, we need to have a pot that is run and responsible people who will not steal, who will not run away with it, but who will make sure it goes to the community. Because once people who see money and they desire money, it doesn't matter whether they're Salafi, whether they're Khalafi, whether they're Sufi, whether they're Kuffar, money is money, they will run with it. So again, it is serious issue about money. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us and save us from being tempted by the issues of money.
I would just put out a question to the brothers. In regards to years, how far away are we from having a so-called Muslim investment group, that we're in such a situation where, okay, Abdul Azeez is doing well, Abdul Rahim is doing well, Ismail is doing well, and we can say, right, okay, we're going to start buying some houses now, or we want to start buying some petrol stations, or XYZ. Do you think that will happen in our lifetime?
Definitely not. Definitely.
It can.
Okay, wait, hold on. Let me go for AR sense first. Why definitely not?
The reason why I say definitely not, was you got to understand, this is what I'm saying. This is and listen, I'm gonna stress it. I'm gonna stress it all the way through. Me stress and stress and stress. Support is a major thing. Support is a major thing. You get me? Like, you got to understand, we have brothers, that, and I'm not saying it's okay, but they turn to haram because they see no other option within the community. They don't see no one helping. They don't see no handouts. They don't see nobody that's welcoming. Do you see where I'm coming from? You got to understand, just because people see me with a tent in Brixton and they see that a couple people wear my hats, etc., automatically people feel that Abdul Rahim must be doing well. But have you personally, and I speak to everybody that watches this, have you personally bought an incense? Have you personally bought an attar? Have you bought a hat? Have you, etc.? Do you see where I'm coming from? You know, there's one thing of saying, raw, yeah, mashallah, the brother's doing well. But do you speak to me like that? Have you personally supported me like that? Yeah, and this is what I'm saying, it's imperative that we understand that support is a key thing. Yeah, and if we support each other, then we might be able to get up in the ranks. If we are not supporting each other, especially if we're coming from the ground. Remember, I've just told you that me personally, my business is stemmed from £100 from my personal self. Do you see where I'm coming from? So if my business has stemmed from £100 and I've kept on putting in, and I've never had no funders, nobody else give me any money, understand I've been doing this for 9 years, and look at where I'm at. Do you see where I'm coming from? If people were supporting me like that, don't you feel like I would be in a better position? Do you see where I'm coming from? And I don't, and no one ain't got no time for moaning. We move. We move. On, yeah. That's the mindset. We move.
You don't cry about it. You gotta get.
You cry over spilt milk. How's that helping me? How is that helping me? We got to move. Just keep on. We push on. Do you see where I'm coming from? And that's what, like, it's not happening. Me personally, I don't feel it's happening. Yeah. And off the back of that, let me just say something. We was talking. I heard a brother talk about investment pots. Yeah. I personally, me, Abdul Rahim, AR.sense. Yeah. I put out for anyone in the community, whether they were Muslim, they were non-Muslim, whatever. If they were parents or they were carers and they had young people under their care, I told them to get at me, holler at me, whether it was Instagram, whether it was a telephone number. And I was giving out my personal oils, yeah? And I was giving the youth them opportunities to make money, yeah? I still got a couple oils left if people still want to take advantage. So I'm just putting it out there again in this group here, yeah? Because I didn't want children to grow up and say, nobody never ever helped me, yeah? Because that's how I felt. Yeah, because not all the time your family might have them riches. Your family might come from Caribbean families like I did, and they came over and they didn't really have that mindset, etc., etc. Cool, no problem. We're different, so we got to have that mindset. This is why I talk about pushing for education and working hard in order to have something for my children, because I never really had anything. Yeah, but what I'm saying is this: I've given that opportunity for people. Your child might not even never get that ever again, but at least I gave and was able to say, well, do you know what? Maybe your youth is that guy, that child that can put in and stick at it from an early age. Imagine if your child is now 10 and he's able to do that. Imagine what he can build empire-wise off the back of that by the time he hits 22. And I didn't want anything back from that. Do you see where I'm coming from? So it's easy talking about pots of money, but pots of money will get stolen. Let's be real, because everyone is hungry for money. But it's like I said, the brother Abdul Azeez Taylor's doing, skilling people up, giving people a product. It's either you sell that product or you don't sell that product. It's either it's going to go to waste or you're going to get some money, you're going to squander it, but you had to work for that. Giving things for free doesn't never work. Yeah, because it was for free. There was nothing attached to it. Do you see
they take it. They don't really care for it if it's for free, innit?
Exactly what Abdul Azeez said in the first place. He came from a different country, so there's certain things he couldn't do. Why? Because you see that red book, it was not free. It came with conditions. You see, for the people that had their red book, man's robbing banks, man's jumping on aeroplanes to do mad things. Why? Because it was free. It was free. To work free for that. There's no risk. What, I go jail and come back out? Do you see where I'm coming from? We've got to really like.
Okay. Let me get Abdul Azeez because Henry, because he said he's got to go. 1 second. Fadl, Abdul Azeez, Henry.
Jazakumullah khairan, brothers. My apologies. Got to leave soon. Just wanting to add just something to think about, and of course something to do. And there's something that was mentioned before. I'm not sure if Ismail Hamza is still on the line. That was mentioned a few months back, and that is the thing of networking. Perhaps he might be able to explain a bit more about that, after I leave. But one of the things, and this also ties into what Abdul Hamid was saying about communication. You see, I'm thinking that rather than us sort of like stumbling around and hoping that we might find a brother who's like-minded or someone who's doing something that we're interested in, why don't we seek to create that platform which showcases what people are doing? Not to necessarily boost people up, but to recognize that, look, there's people in the community that are doing a variety of different things, and this is how you can contact them. Because at the moment, everybody's connected, but at the same time, disconnected. So if we have more platforms where people can get to be aware that there's a brother teaching people plumbing or carpentry or the route to becoming a doctor or a solicitor or any of those career fields, then this is something that would help. Because again, we already do the same thing when it comes to the studies of the deen. We direct people to the experts within the field. Someone wants to memorize Quran, we send them to the teacher of the Quran teacher, the imam or whoever that person is. Somebody who wants to learn hadith, we're going to direct it to the hadith person. Somebody who wants to learn sharia fiqh, we're going to so, but what the point I'm saying is that, but we will highlight those people, which we should do, go to the people who know, and we say, look, this is the person you go to for that. But we don't find that really happening with the other things that's going on. So somebody may come across somebody every so often that's maybe doing the same thing, and you get to see something that's it. So what I'm saying is we should try to create that opportunity on purpose. So for example, if we're going to have a platform similar to this, you invite maybe 20 different people who are getting on with things. And then not only that, the follow-up is that, here's my contact details. If you need more information, contact me. Or if you have a son or a daughter that's interested in a particular field, I'm here to give you information, advice, and see how we can cooperate. And that's all in the field of cooperating upon, righteousness and piety. So I wanted to just leave that thought, for networking and and a takeaway of something we can actually do. Because it's nice to hear from the brothers. Alhamdulillah, it's nice to hear from the brothers on what's going on, but how do we now convert that into some type of action? We can say, from this conversation, we did this. Even if it was one thing, or even one thing that we did from this conversation, we said, you know what, maybe, I don't have trainers that need to be cleaned, but, I know there's a brother doing something, maybe someone else, let me just share that on my network. Let me just put it on my WhatsApp status and just share it. Or maybe I'm not in Brixton to buy oils, or I've got other, or whatever the case, or I go and sample them, but let me just share it because we're from the same community. Let me just share at a very basic, it does take seconds, but again, unfortunately, I mentioned it, unfortunately, you don't find people really even sharing, which is the most basic thing that you can do. Put it on your WhatsApp status or your Facebook, whatever, and just let people know that there are people doing things in the community. That's a starting point. That could be a starting point. And we're not looking for any return. We're not saying, vamp cleaning, I want a commission from the promo, or AR Sense, I need a cut because I'm promoting. No, just because we just want to help. We're looking at the situation like we're one body. So we're not necessarily trying to get something in return. We just want to give. We want to share. That's it.
Okay.
Abdul
Azeez, Taylor, Assalamu alaikum. This may be ahead of the game, but what is the vision for VAMP? How do you think you're going to get there? And do you think you will need to tap into the community in order to expand and grow? Or are you on a one-man mission that I don't need no one, I can do it on my toes? What's your mindset in regards to, because obviously you might have thought about expanding another shop. Boy, I need a 50 grand to get another shop. Who can I tap into? Am I going to go to the community to do it? Tell there's no community to help me out. What's your feelings about that?
When I first started this business, I wrote down my customer avatar, who my customer avatar is, and the community doesn't fit into that. So I never ever looked for anything from the community. I have a certain kind of customer that I'm going for.
Why?
The person I'm looking for, they have a name that their name isn't from amongst the community. They have a look that isn't from amongst the community. Mm-hmm. We're talking about generally in terms of everybody, like it's not in abundance amongst us. They dress a certain way and they do certain things. So I made sure, one thing I never did or never even looked to is the Muslims around us, or even just anybody on the whole, to say that these people must support my business, or even looked in any kind of way of support from the community.
This is obviously fundamental. Is that because you know the community doesn't have that for you, or because what you're looking for is not in the Muslim community?
Both of them. So firstly, the community isn't, not every, what I do, that's not our main thing. You understand? I'm on the heavy consumer, who is consumed by European consumers, only cares about Dior and Gucci and the thought there. And it's just common amongst us that this isn't what we're after. We're not saying that it's a bad thing. It's a good thing that we're not after these things here, but there are many individuals who we can capitalize on that actually do and are interested in that. And that's their life source, in other words, to buy clothes and to sell clothes, or to buy and wear clothes, in other words, no matter how much the cost is. And we're here to facilitate for that. Then we're here to facilitate that for them, in other words. So I've never looked for the community. Also, is that I know I wouldn't get the support at the moment, and that's not a bad thing. The reason why is because we've come from a certain lifestyle. We've been affected historically differently. So you have to understand these things here and be the force of change. Don't look at the people and complain, but be the force of change. Do you understand? So, and being the force of change can be just to set an example, to help where you can. As I said, you're not going to be able to help everybody under the sun. So help where you can in that sense. Where was I going with this? But in terms of plans moving forward for the business, COVID has given us some insight exactly where we want to go. So alhamdulillah for this period, lockdown, I've been able to sit back, reassess, plan, and execute certain kind of things within my business that has helped me to move forward and exponentially grow my business. A fault within myself is that I am not good at utilizing the superpower that we call social media. So I've started to begin to use that, and there's been a direct correlation in terms of engagement between my customers and my company, and in terms of how much I post, my consistency on using the platform. So that's one aspect in terms of an avenue that we're going towards and moving into, because the world, and that is reason why COVID has given us that insight, is because people are not on the road like they were before. Conversations are not happening like they were. So whereas before people were just walking in and out and see me, everything is now, things have to be spoken about in terms of online. You have to make yourself visible to the people who don't know about you, because people don't know about you. So number one, we want to work on our lead generation. So being visible, bringing in our customers of the sort, that making ourselves aware to the general public, our offers and all the sort, and becoming clear on what we actually offer. So number two, we want to move towards becoming COVID proof for the future, move towards being online more. Most definitely. So we're working off a delivery base now rather than a pick up and drop off. So we're going to offer both. So I've made some strategic partnerships with some people to do so. We also want to offer in terms of launch our own cleaning products. So that's in the process currently in terms of what we're planning on doing. And last but not least, I'm in the process of developing a program with another body within the community to help young people in terms of get a certification in what we call like the new age of skills, whether that be sneaker cleaning or reselling of the sort. So we're in the process of doing that. Yeah, that should be offered to. You'd have to go through obviously the correct procedures to do so. Not just anybody walk through the door. But anybody can have access to it if you're within the ages of 16 to 25.
Okay, Jacqueline, we're coming to the end, but I want to obviously end this meeting on a good note. That the future is looking bright for the community, that we can see the light. You know, we have rising stars, mashallah, 20-year-old young Muslim man doing very well. And at least there's now, alhamdulillah, a conversation that's going on concerning Muslims aiming high, having business established. It's not all doom and gloom. Abdul Rahim, I'm gonna come to you first. We're gonna round up,
I think
How
we should
can we
keep
end
it
this?
general. I
Further?
think we should keep it specific to our community in this sense, because we find other Muslim communities, they thrive, but it's this
Okay.
community on the whole. And what's different between us, as I say to all the time, it's we come from a different kind of background. We've been affected mentally, and like it's generational of how we've been affected. You understand? And it's going to take a lot to break that mold.
Okay.
So, yeah.
As I said, do you believe? 'Cause I don't believe that mold. Or
Can be broken when
historically, you might say historically, whether it be from slavery, whether it be from institutionalized racism, whether it be from any individual has their own journey and what they've suffered. So put that to the side. I'm saying now, as a community in this day and time, what's stopping us from achieving, like say other communities? Okay, obviously people have got ancestral wealth from their great grandfathers was the import and export. We don't have that. Maybe we've come here for 2 generations. Our thing is different. Okay. But is the future looking bright? Are you saying it's still going to take another 5 generations before you can compare this generation with this community with another community?
It could take 2. And it could literally take 2, depending on the mindset. But again,
2 generations.
It could take 2. It could be 1, if I'm honest with you. All it takes is a shift in mindset. That's all it takes.
Okay.
All it takes is for someone to come to that self-awareness that the path I'm on or the mindset that I adhere to or follow is incorrect. And it's only going to lead me into the same ditch that everybody else has fallen into. Do you understand? So it doesn't take much. It starts with a father and a son, as it all did. And it can to how this day, or a mother and a daughter. You understand? Is to how this day and age works. Opportunity is on our front door. So we just have to utilize that. But again, coming back on that mold, on us, as the sister said, we don't have no unity or trust. And that is within the mold that we're in at the moment. And that's why it's specific to a community like this. And we can't say it generally for the Muslims. You go to Asian communities, they have their issues, but they're thriving in terms of business and finance.
Raheem, I get you.
Nah.
For some reason, I don't see it as doom and gloom. I see a change. I see
Most definitely there's a change.
So I see some inspiration. I see things turning into a positive direction. We need to end on a constructive note. Abdul Rahim, AR Sense, man, what are you saying?
Boy, do you know what it is? Yeah, for me personally, it's mediocrity. Yeah, like everyone is somewhat happy being level. Yeah, just there. And I've never been that person. I've never been that person that's just happy just being there. You know, if it's business, if I make $1,000, I want to make $2,000. If I make $2,000, I want to make $3,000. Do you see where I'm coming from? I never just want to stay put. You know, in terms of my business, I've recently created my own fragrances for my brand. Yeah. Now, for me, it's you always have to have that level up. You know, what is the next move? You know, if you got a job, it's cool. That's no problem. Work your job. Do you see where I'm coming from? But what else are you doing? You know, are you working your job, but you're stacking a £20 here and there to invest in something? Like, you know, or you just staying stagnant? My people, don't stay stagnant. You know, read a lot. Like, mashallah, the brother Abdul Azeez. Listen, I'm telling you, he's a reader. He's a reader. You get me? Allahumma barak. You get me? Like, in terms of business, like, that's part of the reason, because he reads a lot. Do you see where I'm coming from? You can have certain skills and have a certain mindset, like what I have. Yeah, but I also acknowledge that I have certain character flaws from where I've come from that's not going to allow me to excel and break certain barriers. So I also know that I need to be around certain people. I need certain people to join my team that are trustworthy, obviously, in order for me to take it to the next level. But it's about acknowledgement. You see, the problem is that everybody is comfortable with someone being around them, just keeping it fluffy And what I mean by fluffy is that no one doesn't keep it real. They don't tell you the hard truth. They don't tell you where you're going wrong. And people are happy with that. Yeah, we need to come out of that happiness of, you know, everything just being nice. No, it's gonna feel weird. It's gonna feel weird. You're in between a rock and a hard place. Zone. Yeah, it's not. You get me? And that's what we need. If we don't have that, we're never gonna be able to move forward. But I'm telling you, everybody, that this is possible. Who would have believed that I'm from Mysore, what they call Baghdad, yeah? And I've created 4 fragrances for my brand, like from London.
Mashallah.
From London, I've not touched a fragrance house. I've not touched a fragrance house like Tom Ford and all these people that have major money. This is where I'm coming from. And I'm telling you, I've got 4 winners and I've got 5 more in the stack. So we don't stop. We keep it moving regardless. Do you see where I'm coming from? So it's just having that mentality of we keep it moving, we keep it going. No
time for tears, no time for tears, no time for crying.
There's no time for tears. You can cry. Don't get me wrong. You can cry. You can cry, but we keep it moving. You can't let them tears stop you. You know. So, and this is what we need to push into our children. You know, this is what we need to push in our children. You know, that mindset of yes, it's hard. It is, but there's no I can't.
No I can't.
There is I can, and you will, but it will be hard. And that's what I push for my children. That's what my wife pushes. You get me? And this is what I'm talking about: units and having a solid unit, a family unit. Because if you have that, then there's only so far that your children can go before they know that I'm a fool. You know, because I've had this teaching, I've had this sort of grounding. My foundations is like this. You know, so my first point of call that I'm going to say to everybody is focus on your household. You know, the hadith says what? Save yourself and your family from the hellfire. Yeah, so let's focus on this. Knowing who you are, what you need to change, you know, what is your assets, what is great about you, what's your weaknesses, try to work on your weaknesses, excel on your assets and what you're great at, and implement these things onto your children and let your children know that no matter what, yeah, they can make it. And also knowing who your children are, because I've got 3 children. 2 of them are very academic and 1 of them, he's not that guy. Yeah. So you see that one there, there's no point in me trying to push him into independent schools, you know, like all these things here. No, we need to find out what he's good at. You know, if he's good at jumping off roofs and rolling over, then we need to push him towards doing that. You know, and that's what it is. You can't allow everyone to fit in a box. Yeah. My family, my sisters were educational. You know, they were studious. They went down that route, education, college, university. Even though I had the brains, that never interested me. And it still doesn't interest me now. But I'm not dumb. But you put me in any country with a product, I'll be able to sell it. So you got to work on the
talents you have.
On the talents. Yeah. And this is what we need to push, like going forward to the community and the youngsters out here. It's the talents. And you can. Everyone can. It's hard, but we can.
We can. Excellent.
And you're never too old as well.
Never too old. No. Never too to go on to Instagram and sell granola.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Fadl, Ismail Fraser, quick, we're going to round up, man. We're doing time. I know my man wants to got a busy day. Fadl.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam to barakatuh.
Yeah, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair, Abdul Rahim, Abdul Azeez, and yourself, Ismail. Inshallah ta'ala, the chat I'm going to do tomorrow is usually just for brothers only, but I'm not going to do one for brothers only. It's going to be open also so the sisters can get involved, and we're just going to really pick up from brother Abdul Azeez Henry's idea about how we can network and how we can set a blueprint. This book, The E-Myth, is what we're actually working on now, about organizational structure, roles, and policies, procedures, and stuff like this. And how someone who is a technician, then how someone who is skilled, learned, and experienced within his fields or her fields, how when they get into to doing business, what's the mindset, and what also is the pitfalls. As for the question, will we be able to have some of the successes that that is enjoyed by other communities? Inshallah, yeah, we can do it. We can do it, but it does need the networking, because currently we're networking with people who are, they may be millionaires, or they know ways how to get to £1 million. Now I'm saying, am I inviting you to earn £1 million? No, I'm just saying that you need to, your network is your net worth in whatever thing you're in. Your network, if you want to learn about plumbing, then it's a good idea that you find a network of plumbers. Shoe cleaning, the same thing like that. Resoling, the thing like that. Learning how to make incense. You need to get with people who know how to make incense. So you need to get with the people within the particular area of specialization. And I'm just going to round off by saying, this is what we're going to be speaking about tomorrow, inshallah, 8 o'clock. Inshallah, I'm just going to round off by saying there was a scholar. He was known both to non-Muslims and Muslims and non-Muslims alike. And one day the scholar was eating in a restaurant, and someone, it was a priest, came to him and asked him the question and said, are you such and such scholar? He said, yes. He said, in the Quran, Allah says that he explained the meaning of everything. Did Allah Almighty, did he explain how to make salad? This salad, this exquisite salad that's in this restaurant, did Allah tell you how to make salad? And the scholar said yes. And the priest, he laughed. He said, where's your proof of this? And he said, if you yourself, if you wanted to make this same salad, who would you ask? And he said, I would ask the chef of this restaurant. I would ask him, okay, so if you were sick and you needed surgery, or you need you need a surgery procedure, or you need to see a doctor, who would you ask? I said, I'll ask a surgeon. I'll go and ask the doctor. Mm-hmm. He said, okay. Allah, he said, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلُ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. He said, ask the people of knowledge if you don't know. He said, ask the people of knowledge if you don't know. So if Allah will explain that anything you want to know, you should ask the people who have that expertise. So this is currently what we're doing. We're currently asking people who have the knowledge, and it doesn't mean that we're rich, and it doesn't mean that we're inviting people to make millions. I don't have millions. I'm struggling and grinding like everybody else, but we're setting out a set procedure from A, B, C at different levels to, if you're starting from scratch, you can find your way to be able to do something for yourself. So that's what I'm going to be talking about tomorrow, inshallah ta'ala, and everyone's invited. But much appreciated the contribution from Abdul Azeez. Jazakallah khair, Abdul Rahim. Jazakallah khairan. And yourself, Ismail. And inshallah, that's what I got to say. But it's possible. It's possible that people could. It is possible, just like it's possible. It's been possible for people in 10 years to run their own business. And within 10 years, they can teach others. All we need to do is just need to network this, and inshallah, it is possible. And the other thing also is that we do not need to tempt each other with money and being independent and reliant on others. What we need to do, we need to help people to be able to get that wealth that Allah Azza wa Jalla has put with everybody, has to be able to extract that wealth and that potential from themselves, and we ask Allah for His help.
I
mean,
any last words, Abdul Azeez Taylor? Quick.
That's me, I think.
You done? AR Sense, any last words before we go?
Make a sensible choice, people, man. Make a sensible choice. That's it.
Ismail Fraser, last words before we go, before I summarize.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Jazakallah khairan.
Jade, Barakallahu feekum, for the guests, Abdul Rahim and Abdul Azeez, for your time. I think there's a light at the end of the tunnel. We are seeing, mashallah, young brothers setting up their own businesses, people striving, people developing their own perfumes, people being independent, you know, having 5-star businesses. So we have to push on. But the issue is the issue of working together and creating that strong network so we can get to the next level. That's going to take a conversation. That's going to take people wanting good for the greater community and putting in time. Obviously, there's a learning curve to go through to establish your business at a certain level before you can even talk about that. But one thing you must have is an ambitious mindset and you know, go forward and being ambitious and encouraging other people to have that mindset that I can do it. If we don't have that mindset, then we've lost. You understand? But we have to re-educate ourselves and have that mindset of we can do. Brothers, Jazakallah khair for your time. It's been a long session. But let's go away with at least the attitude that we can do and have the conversation with the brothers that you meet on a daily basis. Be positive, strive, and look for opportunities. So I'm gonna say to the brothers, Jazakallah khair for your time and spending with us. Inshallah, I'll see you next week.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.
Assalamu alaikum.